Hello, and for the first time ever, this review is not impromptu. We decided halfway through the movie, we're gonna do it.
I think it was less than halfway through, but whatever.
It was less than halfway, definitely. It was probably about the title card. Welcome everybody to a review of 2017's Saban's Power Rangers. It came in 2017, right? If you're here, it's assumed you've seen the movie or you're okay getting spoiled. Here's what I know. When it came out, there were a bunch of myself included, there was a bunch of butthurt people that are like, don't touch my nostalgia.
Yeah, the people who grew up with it. Okay, and spoiler alert, well, not spoiler alert, but John grew up with the Power Rangers. I did not. When I met him and while we were in college, we power slammed the good portion of the first season.
We did, no, we chugged from episode 1 until they changed cast.
Yep, until the cast changed.
Yeah. But
So I don't have nostalgia for the Power Rangers, and he does.
Yeah. Oh my god. People. This movie's not well revied.
It is not well reviewed. It has something like a 44 on Metacritic and a 48 on Tomatoes.
That's I have it. It's called Ratatouille syndrome. I'm shocked how much I like this.
I was fully prepared to be like, oh my god, what a shameless crash grab piece of shit. No, I had a legitimately good time through most of it. I mean, it had little hiccups.
There are pieces. One thing that needs to be said, and this you said this earlier, it runs the line of how much camp is too much camp very well.
Yeah, and my big overarching point that I want to make in this podcast, I'll make now right away. This movie takes the things that people normally groan and roll their eyes about, the movie cliches of and again, assuming you've seen it, the almost death, giant robot fights, teenagers who don't quite understand what life and stakes are, the weird dichotomy, oh, we gotta be friendship and friendship saves the day. This movie takes all of those cliches and all of those campy bullshit and reminds you why they work.
Okay, and
it reminds you why you fell in love with it the first place, the first time you saw it.
And we'll get to this later. The researchers, you could tell it comes from a place of love.
It does. It absolutely does.
We'll get there, but I want to tackle the characters.
Oh my god, Elizabeth Banks is having way too much fun.
Okay, just get out of the way. Elizabeth Banks is Rita Repulsa. She's like, I bet I'll do it for free.
She is fantastic.
It's so campy and
I don't want to spend all review comparing it to
that's fair
to the original Power Rangers. I want to judge it on its own as a movie, but compared to the original Rita, which is just kind of throwaway villain, whatever, she is legitimately terrifying.
3 out of 10. The Megazord did not have a kick him in the nuts button. Okay, so the characters, here's what I noticed right away is that it felt weird in a live action thing to have these characters have the same names and locations as the characters that I grew up with. I did get over it, but hearing a person named Jason and a person named Billy
and Kimberly
and Shrini and Zach, that felt weird. I got over it.
Oh, okay. Again, I don't have that nostalgia that you do.
They tried their best to give all of the characters their own backstory, and they actually did really, really well. There's a scene where the shit in the movie starts getting really real.
Yeah, it's really real. I mean, and these kids are, again, I don't want to do this the whole time, but these kids are not the popular kids of the school. No, they're rejects. And I think in 2017, that's the only way you can take these characters.
Well, here's the thing is that some of them are.
Well, Jason Scott was the pro athlete Superboy until he fucked up.
Okay, well, yeah, these are flawed characters. He did what did he do to fuck up his?
He stole a cow and put it into the locker room.
That was the inciting incident. Yeah.
Though I still think that it's crazy to put a teenager on house arrest, but whatever.
That was a weird plot, but it does get dropped pretty quick.
Yeah.
Billy is another one of the ones that people kind of. They piqued their interest because it is stated in the script that Billy is mildly autistic.
Yes, and he tells you that outright.
He tells you that once, and it never comes back. He's socially awkward, but they don't make it a point that it's his character.
Well, my favorite is that he is not staring me at the screen going, I'm socially awkward. This is why I'm acting this way. No, you can tell by the way he acts and the way he talks. He's socially awkward.
And I did not expect him to be the comic relief character. Usually that's the Black Ranger's job.
Well,
Zach is very much a quippy guy, but yeah, whoever his actor, the Blue Ranger, Did very, very good.
Yeah, really, really solid. I think Billy's character is the most straightforward. That does not make him a bad character.
You find out his dad's dead, but he already had enough growth, and like Jason, he had enough growth as a character. Zach, the sexiest character in the movie, apparently.
Yeah, so Zach's mom is sick.
I think it's Korean or Thai, but
yeah, it's I don't know if they ever directly say.
He's like, I'm here for my mom, and when she leaves, and we'll get to that best scene. Jesus, it's Trini doesn't really have anything going for her. So
what?
She's just like, she doesn't relate to her family, and okay, I take back what I said. She has a lot of stuff going for her.
Excuse me.
Trini is Trini officially, but
Number one, implied lesbian, which
implied. No, they didn't. I didn't say it out loud. It was really cool.
They put that out there and then let it go, which was very, very mature of them, and I like that.
Yeah, it was a more general. My parents want me to be normal, and I don't.
And that scene with her parents, like, and again, maybe it just resonates with me because I'm a girl and I went through that. But oh my god, that was frustratingly uncomfortable.
No, just
like her mom is like socially neurotic and. They have the two little brothers, and the dad just wants everybody to get along. And oh my god, Trini was the most fascinating character for me. I'm kind of a little salty right now.
I'm sorry, I take that back. It was better done than I remember.
Yeah.
So, and then finally, Kimberly, the Pink Ranger they dropped for a long time. That was really cool. And you're like, oh god, why does she not want to talk? I'll bet she has some stupid shit that we're supposed to be important about. But they actually gave that stakes.
Yeah. She's the anti-Billy. You only find out about her and her deeper kind of attitude like far, far later.
So real quick, and you're already in Spoilerville, so don't worry. She had a falling out with a lot of her friends because one of her guy friends sent a nude of one of
what we assume is a nude. They don't show it.
It's PG-13 movie, of course. Sent a nude to her of another girl, and I guess it got leaked, and they had a falling out, and she got.
The girl sent a picture of herself.
Oh, okay.
That's why it was so bad. It was a betrayal.
Okay, yeah, and she's like, I didn't want to talk about that because I feel like an asshole.
I feel like a terrible person. And Jason very, very, I mean, normally this would be like a whole like, oh, let me sit in my room and pout over it for a little while some very slow campy music in the background. We're gonna talk about the music later. But no, Jason is very like, no, you did a horrible, horrible thing. That does not make you a horrible person.
That was really good. That was really good.
And she had like the mind shatter moment from How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, it was really good. Oh, it was really sweet and powerful. Two other characters we have to get over. Brian. Hang on.
Brian Cranston.
Okay, look. When I found
Brian Cran.
No, we'll go back to Brian Cranston. Alpha 5 is played by Bill Hader. Now, originally, the fanboy in me was like, oh, fuck, you just got a famous person to do a quippy voice. How dare you? But then I'm like, wait. The other option is the actual voice of Alpha 5, and nobody from the show likes him.
Nobody likes Alpha 5. Nobody likes OG Alpha 5.
So, Bill Hader did his best to be quippy without being intrusive, which was good.
I love how sassy he is.
He's sassy, but he doesn't take a lot of like time up. And Zordon.
Well, hang on. I wasn't done talking about Alpha 5.
Talk about Alpha 5.
My favorite part about Alpha 5 is the one where Jason's like, hey, we've been hauling ass here. You could throw Saban. And he's like, yes, I know you have been hauling ass.
He has good chops on that.
Just snarky ass.
Brian Cranston, excuse me, Zordon, and
Zordon.
And Jason, they have a really deep relationship. And
though.
They do. No,
it's like the movie wants them to.
No, let me back up. Let me just say, there's in this version, the Power Rangers don't take any of Zordon's shit. They're not really like his lackey. Zordon's not the leader of the group.
No.
They question Zordon's motives.
And they find out that his motives aren't exactly genuine. I don't know. Zordon was my least favorite part of the movie. I feel like because he's a star, they feel like they have to give him more of a point. So let's make him more complicated. Let's make him like, oh, he has ulterior motives for bringing these teenagers together. And I don't think it was necessary.
Yeah. So that was as much of him as you got. When the trailer dropped, right? The big joke everybody wanted to make was that this was The Breakfast Club meets Chronicle. And I think it would make sense given just the trailer that you could come up with that kind of an answer. It's
For those of you who don't know, The Breakfast Club should be pretty obvious. Chronicle is a movie about a bunch of teens who get superpowers and make poor decisions.
That basically, yeah, and it felt the cinematography is very Chronicle shaky, which it does get in the way sometimes. Some of the editing is really choppy and.
I don't know. I think the cinematography and editing were fine.
That's sure.
I mean, it's your typical, campy teeny movie.
Okay. God, what else? The
Krispy Kreme. So the only thing I heard about this movie was, oh my gosh, this is just a giant commercial for Krispy Kreme, and this is stupid, corporate sellouts, blah, blah, blah. You know how many times they mentioned Krispy Kreme? 3.
Uh-huh.
Once, when Billy finds it, they don't mention anything. He just sees it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tells Rita that, hey, that's where your MacGuffin is. And the 3rd time, and when Rita finds the Krispy Kreme and eats a donut.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reference.
Well, I mean, let's go Tarantino about it. Let's not pretend that Krispy Kreme doesn't exist.
Right.
Let's not. If Krispy Kreme wants to give money to the production, we'll put you in the movie. Like,
right. Would you be pissed off if it was Joe's Diner instead
of a really
Krispy Kreme?
super generic restaurant?
Like, what did it matter?
God damn it.
And don't act like it has to be like in the middle of a mountain somewhere because people don't live places. Like Angel Grove is a city. Like, that's where it is.
Damn it. That's what people are really salty about that.
Yeah, and I don't know why.
What's going to turn some people off is for a lot of people, it's going to feel like the movie can't decide whether to be campy or real. And I think you can have it both ways.
I think it walks the line beautifully.
It was a line threatening to fall over at any time, but we got there.
Cuz and again mentioning this movie takes clichés and makes you remember why you love them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if this movie was entirely camp, I just go watch the series. If this movie was like a dark, gritty retelling of something innocent...
That was my deepest, darkest fear.
Then it's a creepypasta, and you don't want that. This movie walks the line very well. There's jokes. It's what I want more Marvel movies to be. And, I feel like that's a really, really bold statement. For those of you who haven't picked this up by now, I'm not a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
I don't it's not that I dislike the movie, I just get sick of watching the same movie 40 times.
Yeah, okay.
But I believe Marvel kind of does this too, only Marvel has been falling a lot more on the campy side, especially with things like the raccoon movie. What the Galaxy
Guardians of the Galaxy.
There we go, Galaxy Police or whatever.
Galaxy Police.
This movie walks the line very, very well, and it's silly, and it's exactly as silly and as awesome as you would imagine 5 teenagers and a giant robot fighting a gold monster to be.
One weird side complaint I had when I saw the promotional art, I was like, Rita Repulsa's too sexy. Can you turn that down a little bit? She's like a wench, right?
Oh, and then the first time you see her, her face is melted off.
The makeup effects are fantastic,
yes!
And she's very weird and creepy, and
that's another thing I admire. Just every person behind this movie, the cinematography, the makeup, the script, everything was made with a genuine amount of care, and it really, really shows.
And now it's time for me to present my argument here. The fan service, and I don't mean boobies and butts. The here's what you came for references to the show, they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. Even tiny ass references where it's like make my Goldar grow, and she hits the staff because that's what she says in the show,
right?
And that shit's all over. They say Morphin time, they have the sequence, and it's not just like a box ticking, it's like shit that I didn't even know I wanted. They're like deep cut references. Go ahead.
So if I can ask you,
yeah.
I worry that references like that, when they're done in movies, when they're remakes of something old, those references will really alienate new audiences.
Well, no, they don't, because those are like throwaway lines. Because make my Goldar grow, that's just like if you don't know where it comes from, it still comes off as a natural line.
Right, but you can't possibly make that judgment because you grew up with this. Because you know what it is. And so I lost track of the exact wording in the question I wanted to ask you, but like if they made this without saying like, oh, it's Morphin time or those things, would you have still enjoyed the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Those are like bonus points. Like those are above and beyond.
Okay.
It's
it's hard because I don't know, like a kid. I imagined a kid watching this.
Okay.
Who didn't watch the original series. They've watched all of the garbage that's come out since then. That is Power Rangers. But they haven't watched the original series, and so I'm wondering if they watch this and they go, this isn't the Power Rangers I grew up with. This isn't the Power Rangers I know. What is going on here? But with the PG-13 rating, you can suppose that it was definitely made for the people who watched the original show.
Definitely, yeah.
That doesn't make it only for them.
Okay.
Is what I wanted to argue.
That's a big problem amongst there's a Lion King movie coming out this year. And a lot of people, Toy Story 3 had this really bad that the audience that were kids when these movies came out, they're like, back off, kids. This movie's for me. I've been waiting forever.
No, everybody is allowed to enjoy media.
Mm-hmm. If this helped introduce more kids to Power Rangers, great.
They're gonna be really, really confused when they go back to the original series.
It doesn't age well, but that's another question for another day.
Random side complaint I have.
Yeah.
As we're shooting the shit here, people in this movie are way too hot.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Like, way too hot. Like, I'm not even just talking about the main cast. I'm talking every single character. Besides Alpha 5.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
Is too, like,
Pink and yellow
hot.
look too good. That's a weird complaint.
Yeah, and red and black look too good.
Fantastic.
Like, to the point of, like, I don't know, like, I don't feel like I'm watching people.
I'm watching models.
Well, I think one of the draws of the superhero genres and of Power Rangers is that, like, it descends just upon a bunch of normal teenagers with attitude.
That's okay. Okay. That they're normal, but
yeah. And I get it. They're movie stars.
It's got to be shiny, and they didn't get any big budget people like Michael B. Jordan or.
I kind of like the new Alien aesthetic they have to the costumes and to Zordon in general. Like, but right before Bryan Cranston dies in the beginning, he has all these, like, swirly tattoos and stuff.
Yeah.
And the yellow chick he saves is clearly not of this earth.
Uh-huh. Well, I think I've said everything I need to say.
Yeah, the Zords were weird looking. Can I please point out that the animals that the Zords are representing did not live at the same time?
Yes, because when this was made, the understanding of paleontology in that era was limited, but now they're stuck, so we have to have those Power Rangers.
Yeah. It's okay. Fine. It's a hell of a lot better than some of the shit you could put in front of your kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly though, I don't know, maybe teenagers would enjoy it most.
Uh-huh.
And again, especially teens and older kids who have seen the original series. And if you haven't, it's on Netflix. Go watch it out and play our game, which is every time Rita Repulsa jumps out of her garbage can, ask her make up what it's time for.
After 10,000 years, it's free. It's time to do my taxes.
It's time to end the podcast.